Hey, what's up Bikerumor fans? I've come to Fort William in the north of Scotland. Right now I'm on the gondola, got the downhill track that they're using the World Cup just there behind me. We're not here for the downhill track, we're here for the Scottish Enduro track, and that's just there in the distance, if you can see that big scar running down the hill. It's about a 12 or 15 minute run for me. So I've come out with a local pro, Liam Moynihan. He's showing us the lines on this track today, so yeah, let's get to it.
Yep.
This track used to be called the Red Giant, back when it was a red graded trail, but since 2018 it's been regraded as a black trail, and you're about to see why. This 3.6 kilometre trail drops 474 metres from 642 metres at the Gondola-accessed trailhead. It's been the highlight stage of previous year's Scottish Enduro Series events, including last year's European Enduro Series Round. As you'll see, Liam and I chose a pretty wet and windy day to take on the Top Chief. This track was sketchy at the best of times, but in crosswinds, the boardwalk sections in particular are pretty scary. This top section is pretty mellow for the most part, just a few smaller rocky sections to deal with, and some fast boardwalk that hugs the side of the hill. At some point the boardwalk bends around to the left and it kind of feels like you're going to fall off the edge of the world a little bit, so that exciting bit is coming up. We'll get to that in a second, but first we had some tight corners to deal with after this long, fast, straight section. So this is one of the tighter turns on the track. It's almost impossible to carry any decent speed out of this, and it spits you out into a chunky rock garden that impedes any effort you put in. The next one has a bit of boardwalk on it to help you out, but it's still super tight. So it's on this section of boardwalk where the wind can be really terrifying. In fact, in recent years, race organisers have decided to start the stage after this section because it's so exposed and prevents a real hazard to riders. You can see that it would be super easy to go too fast here. It's this next left-hander that gives me the heebie-jeebies because of the blind summit, but it's actually totally fine. When the weather's good, you'd normally have a lush view of Loch Linney from here. The track gets super physical from this point, and it's actually got some lung-busting pedally sections. You have to pick your line really carefully because there's a number of wheel-sized holes lurking about waiting to swallow your front wheel. There were some serious crosswinds at this point, and I've been blown off course here in a practice race run before now. There's a couple of wee rock senders, but you can't really go full send here in case the wind catches you. So here's where it starts getting super tough, and you have to lay down the power and pick your line super carefully at the same time. Now you get to pick up a bit more speed before you charge into another rocky pedally section, and in a race you're 100% suffering at this stage. This is another section where you could pick the bike up in a few places, but in the wind you're going to want to be fairly conservative about that in case you get blown offline. That's the pedalling over with for the most part, and from here the track is steeper and you can carry a lot more speed over the granite slabs. The track becomes super technical now. Quite a bit of line choice going on here, but it can be super easy to get unsettled through these turns.
Alright. Oh.
We're now approaching the big slab feature I showed you guys at the start of this video. This is one of the crux sections of the track. You'll see there's a boardwalk around the outside on the left for those who don't want to ride the steep rock slab, but the slab is definitely the racing line. In my first race here in 2018 I had to ride the boardwalk because this section was a real challenge for me. The track gets way more exciting now. It's basically just a massive continuous granite rock slab and the grip is unreal. You can ride some seriously off-camber lines on this and the tyres will just stick to it like nothing else.
You! Ah, you got it. It's alright.
Now the tyres start to see some actual dirt and we've got some fast turns coming up that are really well built with loads of support. We've got a small stream crossing coming up that's a super nice feature. You don't really have to worry too much about line choice here. The water's flowing over that grippy granite rock so you can kind of just plough on through. The track mellows out a lot from this point. It's got nice flow to it with some shallow bermed corners and small sections that you can pump through to maintain speed. good line here over this next rise. If you stay inside, you can cut the corner and avoid the pointy rocks on the downslope. I've sent it over this rise in races only to land really awkwardly on the rocks on the other side. We're approaching the end of Top Chief now, but this isn't quite the bottom of the hill yet. There are a few options from here. You can ride across to the motorway section of the World Cup downhill track, or you can hop onto the four-cross track, or you can ride a super fun red graded trail called the Wild Goat. This trail is berm after berm after berm, offering loads of support, and you can really pump through the turns for grip and to generate speed. There's a nice little kicker coming up that sends you straight into a tight right-hander with loads of support, so you can really lean the bike into it after you've landed the jump, even if you case it. We're approaching the end of the Wild Goat track now. It spits you out into the car park area near the gondola station, where there's a good cafe so you can grab a hot drink after the day's laps. Thank you so much to Liam Moynihan for filming this video with us. Catch you next time.